Wanjamuli Sunday sumukasaba nage yankona mulwadde Sunday sumukasaba nage yankona omanyi munna mawuliro wenna akulabye naye bamuwe ekitanda ali mu Cancer Institute yalwala cancer mu mimiro mino mukwano gwaffe twetaaga okumunoonyako tugende tumulamuseeko Sunday sumukasaba nage yankona tukusaasidde
anti mmwe kyemukola abakuba mulala singa mwamuwandiseeko dda gundi tebamuyambye mumanyi nti ate muli bubi okusinga be mulwanirira kakati nkugambye nze ekyamuzaata
muzaata naye yatufuddeko bamuziise wetidde ki
muzaata bwe yalwala olupapula lwa bukedde terwafa ku bulwadde bwe bwadda ku muzaata ne famire ye n'omukazi
Kuluthumu nafuka Kuluthumu
the marital status of muzaata have to do with his sickness
bamwogera kawolu
kasajja nikakuba naye kali sirisibwa olw'empaka kali omwana bw'alumenye ensubi ajja kubamu olukaawo enkola eyo omwana akalenzi ako kakati n'olyoka otunula ekyokubiri what scares me most biiru ya muzaata ya milioni 1,800
gavumenti ekisasudde
anti si kusasula wayi bano bwe baba basendeza covid baziba naye balikwatibwa n'akajiiko tekajja kubeerawo baba bisabusiru bali babba bafune sente ez'okunoonya kalu museveni agwe kakati sente ne bazibba zonna kakati tudde muzimubiriza mutya ventilators ebyo ebisa tewali omuntu ayogera nti kampuni bifu kakati amalwaliro ekyokubiri mu bubbi bwabwe amalwaliro gonna tekakkirizibwa kujjanjaba covid bajjamu amalwaliro agabo mwe banabbira sente
muzaata yabadde mulwadde waki
anti bagamba nti wulira kakati muzaata okussa ekyuma ekyo okukikuteekako nti osse kubanga amalwaliro ga gavumenti gabiina amalwaliro agabiina ga private nadde ngamba abaana bange tinalwaki tetukulaayo kimu bagenda eri omanyi sente zekigula kikwata ebiliyoni
wabadde oyagala mwegulire ekyuma kya ventilator mukiteeke waka Tamale
wulira wetu tujja kulwala kakati amalwaliro ga private gabyereetedde do you know what it means okikuteekako omala kudepositinga 5 million every day 2 million ani aziina and covid is rampant okujjako
covid yahitiridde ali buli wantu wonna
nga Dr. Mwanje ne timu ye yaba scientists aba Uganda bawangudde ekirabo ekyokuyiya eddagala lya COVID-19 vaccine era bagenda ka World Health Organization yebayita bagenda genda ne Dr. Diana bagenda genda ne Achange Dr. Mwanje agenda kulembera ekibinja ki awe wali essuubi wokka
essuubiritya
yati weriri bakoziri Dr. Mwanje ne scientists banne abalimba ensi eno bawangudde ekirabo ekyokukola eddagala lya covid obawaana kituufu bakozi nnyo bakozi naddala omuvubuka ono alinanye pulezidenti oba mwana wa mwannyina naye bamuyise World Health Organization yebayise eddagala lisoose mu Uganda kakati ezimiteriyo okiteeka gwe omukisa gwe tufunye ogwa Dr. Mwanje nga bwe babayise ne Diana bagende bakoze vaccine bye bagiina
so kyakwebaliza Katonda ekyo
kyebaliza Katonda yuga visi ddagala baliyita yuga visi Dr. Mwanje be balikoze
ekyo si kirungi
nnyo tubakubireko omugalo ba Dr. naye ekifaananyi kyamwe bane nkyagala ku gundi tubayagala mukimpeerezeeko yeetagana ku ogufaananyi gunene nnyo ngaandi n'ogwa Diana nga guli bwebuti buli n'ogwa Change buli boda yonna abatukoledde ekyomutawaana
Tamale
Uganda Katonda yagiyamba nsi y'abajulizi eddagala erikola siriimu factory eri mu Uganda eddagala abakoze yoga fish abalikoze ba Dr. Mwanje lyafulumye weriri liri katale kakati nno kyemba nkugamba what if this man did not die
muzaata nkwongere kati onzirusiza ku muzaata
milioni 1,800 yali kijeewo
nga yegoba zibanja abadde kukolera government
house bangwira mulambo bandateekasi ezo nalwisa zitamangu ezo okuleeta ne bajja nti bateeka enzoovu omuce mboka erivugira ewaffe ate amakuba
gwoliba ofudde tewalibeera kuba kiboko tulijja ne tuziika
abakambo webali
ababo
benfumbira subu w'ennumba ne mbawako nga babbe
abaana bakambu wadde obataddemu obusungu
kakati this is the situation we are tisente baziba tebasobola kukola publicity era funga batukolera obwerere bulijjo tugamba abantu covid mungi
covid ye mungi
ate covid tetwamanyira kutekwata mu ngalo songa fa abaganda tetwalifiiridwa covid yali zusi omuganda takwata muntu mu ngalo okwata ebigambo bibiri bye batawula omuntu okumuwa engalo kitegeeza mwenkana status omwana towanga muntu munga nategedde zivuddewa sibuli muntu ndio chobalanza omukono gwa gubera gwezinze bwebwe buno kujjayo nyondo nze buli wonde bakutemo resource
nkulaba mbere nnyo
nze mbuza abantu omukono guno gwa kujja era ndinga mutawani wange yali awasajjo ne mugamba ndi muntu ndi traditional wedding omugole omukwatira ku guno gwasigala kujjayo kitala kuba mukazi bamubiranga mu church chobala church zibera ko ashazini akasajja agamanyi kakati apo tuntunde omugole yatulanga kusaidira nawe ababanga omugole bavanga musaidia mukazi ngamugena nemboko mu church omukazi bamukubangako ngamukubyeko yakola nayiche bayita honeymoon yes
ngana yakeza bamutwali
anti abakazi bali batono era nabaganti we campaign okumusunda omusajja abba sente za queen nazimala ku account ne bamunonyo okumuta bamukwatya kumbaga eri bamwanika kalaba omuzimu gwe kutandika okutaba kola abakazi kuba bagugana okuwasa kakati kwe kugenda basamize bebungereza ne baganti abagole mwambale gawuni enjeru ne babatuma ne blade musambo okubeera Scotland gwalabikiranga mu byambalo byeru nga gwe gugabe enzalo abakazi abagomba bagenda nga yewa blade kakati omugole ne bamwambaza gawuni enjeru omuzimu bwe gaje ne kuganti guno musambwa ne kulumba abasajja abagole abasajja ne kutuka abagole abasajja bali abasamize bayo ne bayiya campaign kibula bamusunda nakutobya tukyesa with muzimu kati gwe bakuyira wachi ago bakuyira wachi campaign kati abafaransa lokuba bajerekanya abangereza bajerekangana nti you took a French leave ndi umufaransa tasobula nabano ne babagamba nti the pronunciation of an English word is 100 miles away from its meaning bavumagana balwana intale chikumi kati abafaransa bategeera nti ebungereza campaign wa amanyi bo bayiwa muyiwe awangu demutakaze mpaka
ne bamiwa
nena kali mutani wange nti wanu wabera wenyondo bekitala kati ekikuuma omukazi sikitala mapenzi na sente
ebinna kusino ekitala kyenna kusino
mapenzi na sente muyira amapenzi ngane sente weziri
ebwa wadoga mamutabani wo omuteka teka
ati no mwana mutwale ko ku beach singa Adamu yatambulanga neva nga babeera bono omusota yali kusanzeewa
ekyale tumutawana kumoleka
yarwa mu buwulu male ali yarwa mu buwulu chobola omusota gwake mai singa bali bombi kwali musanzeewa
singa bali bageze ku beach
tambula ne mukaliro ku beach emisota gire memulumba kakati ekyamuzaate ekyo nkitya nti apo tutunawo look Diana nadira results za gundi naziwereza ku social media is it normal zamuzata ndi yafudde gundi covid-19 ate results ezeddwaliro ndala yali negative amusikaye ati era bukedde nakizayo mu family kubanga bukedde oyo mu mutunulire kasiwukira emotoka yamutomedde nemuyitako abasuubuzi banyiize nnyo omulambo gwa musuubuzi munnaabwe nomugagga munnaabwe oguteeka kabangali teeka omutetema oguyiseeko emmotoka tewaligeredde mu kutiya bukedde alina element of crime mulimu omuwala bamuyitazire baggwa akolagana n'abasaidi abasekawese babakutte nga tebaliyo abasenagirinya babakutte nga taliyo mu bukedde mulimu element ya criminality ene bode buli wasoma sole za bukedde ategeera nti kibunzikira mu nju abasamu yizo baganti abana nti namwando alana n'abaana abasiramu balina bagabe mali yabwe
abasiramu balina bagabe mali yabwe abasiramu balina ebintu byabwe botalaka
kali yingirako abakambu family nkambu enge yange temba koze chekwali
tumalize kitabo kino Tamale nga tuvudde ku muzata page 13 ndozo kitabo kiyita mu 7 the revolutionary ekitabo president yakiwandika ku cover page kuliko kifaananyi kya president 7 nga ine ensonga za ttanya ntandikira bano ku appointment of the electoral commission. Yes. In 1980, the electoral commission was appointed by Paul Mwanga and they were not subjected to any vetting processes. However, in the current arrangement, the president only proposes names and are vetted by the parliament. This is a norm anywhere and everywhere. Some opposition politicians have peddled simplistic arguments that how can one of the participating soccer teams be the referee. Refereeing means that his or her decisions are final. However, Museveni's role in appointing the Electoral Commission is not final. Some of the proposed names are rejected. Why do these people complain only about the Electoral Commission when the same method applies to the judges, the ministers, and others holding offices that require parliamentary approval? This is how the law was made. The only answer to this is that they blame their defeat on the Electoral Commission. If we advance that argument, then we shall import examiners from outside. Does it mean that those who set the exams have no children or relatives who would benefit unfairly from this relationship? What about the medical doctors? Should they practice by operating away from their home areas to avoid bias? This is catered for by the professional ethics. Any person assigned with the responsibilities who fails to perform at the people's expectations must be forced to resign. This is a known principle worldwide. Furthermore, it is amazing to say that the Electoral Commission is used by the government to ridge out the opposition candidates. Why? The answer is that no sensible father can say that one of the twins is his while the other is not. How come that this biased Electoral Commission declares the opposition candidates winners when they win? This means that the opposition does not command the support it claims to have. If a female student complains about a male teacher on harassment attributing to a poor performance, then she must be performing well in subjects taught by the female teachers. The accusation is deliberately done to twist the Electoral Commission to do what the opposition demands. It is a trick utilized by the people. If a person wants to blackmail you, he or she will use your tribal religion. That you have treated me like this because I am from your religion and your tribe. This forces the weak-minded to succumb to that pressure. Babies also use the same tactic. If one of the twins cries a lot, it attracts attention of the mother more than the other that is quiet and sleepy. Secondly, by complaining about the Electoral Commission, the opposition wanted to exert pressure on the government to change its membership. This would help the opposition in three ways. Number one, its dissolution would mean that the institution was a bad performer, and this would dent the past performance, including election results. The same opposition would use it to slot in its people. For any institution formed in your absence, its dissolution gives you an opportunity to slot in your own people during its restructuring. Fourthly, it would help Dr. Kizza Besigye, who had vowed never to participate in any future elections if the Electoral Commission was not disbanded by the government and did so. Dr. Kizza Besigye would mobilize his supporters on the campaign messages that the government was using it to cheat him. The government that was using it to cheat him had been dissolved. Finally, given the nature of our opposition politicians on their lack of consistency, I would not be surprised if they accused the government of disbanding the Electoral Commission because it had refused to cheat for them in the coming elections. The late General Aronda Nyakairima was on several occasions attacked by the opposition for being an army officer who had been sent by Museveni to distort the voters' register and national identity card. When he died, they shouted themselves hoarse, and according to them, Nyakairima, who had been sent to help Museveni to rig elections on the national identity card, became their darling in death, alleging that he was eliminated because he had refused to mess up with the same exercise. They do not fear to contradict themselves because nobody puts them to accountability. The DNRM from its original values kati one wetu waditulaze kalika weddeyo nche twatwagala kwogerako
nalinjakala
eryensonga ensonga naye naawe amakulu wegali kubanga mu kinaana oga nti muwanga Electoral Commission yetu yaliko debate yalinga nga tusobola kugiwakanya
twogera bali vetted
atosobola nobba wakanya kubanga babalonda ne babatwala mu kakiiko ka parliament akakiiko ka parliament kabakongola ate process yemu to understand the difference between to understand the difference between rigging, political maneuvering, and tricks, we have to examine two things. Rigging can only be done in an election process, for instance. In the case of the parliamentary election, the constituencies can be gerrymandered. This is a process where constituencies are made in favor of the government supporters. In 1980, a part, for example, had the same constituencies like Mpigi, which had at that time included Wakiso, Butambala, and Mpigi itself. Today, the area is represented by 10 members of parliament. In Masaka, Bokoto was represented by 1 member of parliament in 1980 parliament. The area is now represented by 5 members of parliament. The difference the difference is that the criteria for creating constituencies are clear and known. Every 50,000 people must have a constituency. This cuts across all areas in Uganda, which means it is different from the 1980 situation done as a rigging strategy. The government applies the same criteria in creating districts, municipalities, and the lower councils. Remember, in the 80s, the whole of Western region, West Nile, the whole of the West Nile was declared under emergency because of the insecurity to deny the people the right to vote, because UPC knew very well that because of the atrocities commanded by the Chikosi Malum, a government could not get voters or votes. The UPC nominated its supporters to represent the sub-region in the 1980 parliament. In spite of the security in northern Uganda, the people voted in all the previous elections. Bahati angatibainayo kalulu.
Bahati kalulu. Naye Museveni ne yanonyezaako bululu mu northern Uganda ku Uganda. Mine sweeper. Nga abantu bali mu nkambi. Naye Museveni yadikirengako northern Uganda. Omanyi nti bali bamugambi nti alete UN observer ne UN representative. UN representative kitegeeza ekitundu ekiwaddeyo. Museveni brought the UN observer. Gundi kisano.
Yaleta kisano.
Yes. Kuba yabimanyi kasi toba nga tomanyi political terms wano nga tozimanyi bwakwe bazanyira, and they are not confronted. Ndikakati bote bakitegeera titiya gasa ali selective, tebakitegeera nti kasolo bakuba muntu wa eyo district bajimaze omukazi wa DP ne kasolo kaagende ejobu lya mwezi liba jogesa abantu okula oba strategists ndi mujja kutuchimayo abaganda baganti wamala okukomba nti nakato twalotereke dabe ekimwacho kikulinga ekyomugoloba fe tujja kuboleza tujja basibira kuwabwa ngatu
kicha kiganye Tamale nekirala
kakati ngamwekisero bategeranga nti obujoze n'obushuma byebyo basudde toyira kushuma kakati nga nakulaza
obushuma bwe bubbi
nga nakulaza akatabo kenawandika ku mbabazi ministries zonna eziriki prime minister's office is the heart of government.
Ekwanga mwemuli implementation unit mwemuli implementation unit eya ebintu bena government bye byagala okola
relief akawunga bakabanga kali wani ate president atambula n'okulutu kyemwewunyako nakiza mukula nayo gera kugonde abo baba kube
anti abantu tebamanyi
bakozinga twali baba kube
gomanyi Tamale nti abantu bano bakoze trouble ne abantu tebamanyi
ababuli education ye mukuzinonya obululu radio tewali TV tewali bilioni lukaga mwata Ministry ya Health yenonya obululu COVID sente bazimba mulale bakasosola kakati omuntu wuyo ventilator eri kumitwale bukadde butano ani abulina. That's why people are running away from Nairobi. In fact mukamba buli COVID yali Kenya ate muyitirivu ba medics basabye ne insurance
Kenya kiyitiridde nnyo okusinga na wano.
Yes
lukwago
dokita mwanje ne banna abalimbanga COVID ono omukyalo wakatwa kamulinge mangada ono Diana alibera ko omwerunga zali kubanga
ate bayiye eddagala Tamale kikola bubi
baba yisemu anja agenda tikiti yajufunye niba nesinganda bakujifananyi kya mwanje yetaka ne bamubira post nene
ekoleki
mu Uganda ba professor tubayita ba professor waliwenje ulu ba professor ne
kankwenda wozi Tamale wansebe dobozi wano dino lyaki
bali ba professor bali ba sente nibalimba Museveni amuyina ko Uganda oyo
lino limbateka ko
naye covid yabe we mudde covid yabe we mudde.
He actually behaved in a funny way where he was so much willing to push us over. You know, when somebody simply thinks they can just tilt you over, and you fall like a garbage bin. But that is how most of these people behave. No, I normally see. Certainly, you first of all need to know where you belong. Sometimes we go and belong, we tend to have a sense of belonging to certain groups, but these groups don't really need us at all. They don't need us at all. We are only seen either as prey toys or as people who actually are demeaned. Yeah? We always have to be below their belts. That is how most of the people want us to appear before them. So they always keep posing that, you see, we are the only ones. We are the only ones. I realized that thing already. You see, these days, when you look at the Uncle Kutesa, it's like, he feels so much of himself. He really feels so much of himself. He's like, yes, I've got my own troubles, but still, everybody of you has troubles, and you cannot escape them without our assistance. We, the elders, know how you are supposed to lead your lives. That is how he has been looking at us. That is the perception he has towards us. And then he feels it is all done. Hey, these days he's fighting very hard to see that they relate with the Tamalemirundiofficial, and he doesn't want anything that interferes with what they are plotting. And that is where the whole trouble is going to start. That is where most of the troubles are going to start. You see, they think Tamalemirundiofficial is a very reliable person. He is not at all, because when he feels offended, he will even attack his own friends. He will attack his own families. One time I was listening to him on radio, and they had to drag the wife into a national debate on a national television. That this woman is also dealing with what and what and what. He's very reckless. That is why he's targeted by these scammers and all that. These killers are targeting her because, she doesn't want to listen. There are certain things I really thought he would never speak about them on radio. Me, I cannot go on any public platform and I talk anything to do with my children, to do with my relatives, or even my sister who is in the government. I never mention her name whenever I'm anywhere, not even her institution where she works. So, but this man normally, that is why I'm telling you, sometimes you can rely on him, but when he's not offended, when he gets offended, when he gets angered, sometimes he loses control. So that is what I was talking to Uncle Sam. I told him, you know what? You are very good to go, and I really support you to go ahead and open up cooperation with the Tamalemirundiofficial. But just be aware that at one moment in time, when he gets angry, he will not hesitate to drag your name, and demolish you completely. So I tell him this. You see, sometimes I also look at certain situations, and I'm like, okay, you see, me, I normally follow Tamalemirundiofficial because he has very, very rich and wealthy ideas. He is a very good political analyst. I think he's one of the best. The only difference you people have with the Tamalemirundiofficial is that you have different platforms. Just the platforms are different. But the most important platform, by the way, is the peasant platform. When you look at the Tamalemirundiofficial, his listenership is wider because he's just not targeting the intellectuals. He's targeting the people. You just call it the people, intellectuals and all the other classes combined. He targets them. And that is what is making him very powerful. For me, I would think when he goes haywire, it is only because he's misinterpreted. For me, that is what I perceive of him. Yeah, I have never had him turn against Museveni, and yet sometimes there are several annoying things. But he simply says, there are certain things you cannot employ your head to defend the government against. And he mentions a few things, like when the coronavirus came, he was like, now you look at how people behaved. They stole a lot of money. The food was never delivered. the radios are never delivered, this and that. How do you expect me to defend? But who doesn't know who's behind all these deals? Who doesn't know where this money went? Yeah? Because now you ask yourself, how can you preside over a government where money is lost and you have no capacity to trace it, and yet you know the people you deployed to take charge, and you know when the money comes from Minister of Finance going to Minister of Health, such and such a person there is responsible. When the drugs are brought and they are going to National Drug Authority, they are supposed to go here. When the drugs are in national medical stores and they are to be distributed, they take this channel. He knows, but why do you think he doesn't take action? That is a major question. So, because Tamale Mirundi realizes most of these things, he chooses not to talk about them simply. And simply say they are undefendable things. And I support him, even if I were the one. There are things I cannot defend. But sometimes you tend to go overboard and defend undefendable things and try to twist them, and then you get caught in the trap. Yet, no matter it happens, you see. Now, let me tell you, Richard. You know, when you're committed to doing a job, sometimes it has to be very bad, but you have to do it. Those are called the professional hazards. Professional hazards will get you anywhere. If you're a field journalist and you're going to cover Bobiwine's riots, you just be aware a straw bullet can hit you, and when you die, you're not going to report to police that they killed you. You're not going to go and tell your boss that you gave me a wrong job. You simply have to bear with the situation. So sometimes if I'm committed to defending something, even undefendable things, I have to find the means of twisting up all languages and twisting up all the psychology. I turn your head left and right, upside down, just to make sure that I make a point clear. So that is part of our profession, and I still have to do it. So that is the difference. Maybe I have with Tamale, and I really respect that man. He's a very good person. He's a very good person. Actually, much as yes, we hate each other. Me, I don't hate him the way he hates me. Because me, sometimes, if I go into a fight, I allow defeat. I know I was defeated. Now, even only that is advantaged, his capacity is a bit higher when it comes to those espionage things, sometimes which I think it is fiction. He just predicts, or even he uses his fetishes, the Mayembe, his witchcraft. And then we think he has technology when it is actually witchcraft he's using. You know me, I never underestimate witchcraft. I know what happened. I've ever seen that man in my car. Sometimes when he talks about it, he thinks, some people think it is a joke. It is never a joke. It is a reality. Me, I no longer joke or play around with him. So when I'm done to do my games, I tend to go very, very far from leaking it to the know of the public. And that is the best way. I normally find myself surviving. So, to me, when I look at Tamale, of course, he's a very powerful person. He's a very powerful person. That one, I cannot say no. No, he's extremely very powerful, and he's extremely knowledgeable. And then the advantage I was talking about is his technology, that sometimes he's able to loop into your secrets. He's able to loop into your phones. There's a lot of espionage happening. I don't know sometimes whether it is his fetishes that come around and start to record your voices or transmit them to whatever the technology is using. At least we have tried to counter it, and we have totally failed. That even the military, even the intelligence, they are really wondering, really, how can it happen? They did a lot of consultations, but the Israelis told them, yes, if you want such technology, we can provide it. The Russians have also said, if you need such technology, we can provide it, but it needs a lot of expertise, and you might have very few people who can handle that. So that is the whole thing. But he has that advantage, which I believe it is His Excellency which provided it just to scare us away, or to try to diffuse the possible proofs that he had from rumors that many members of the NRM, many members of the military and intelligence, and the many political elites are trying to form a government within a government, which they call a subterfuge, to make sure that they possibly overpower you. So that whole thing happened. And possibly is now using Tamale Mirunda as a mouthpiece. Otherwise, the way he's talking about the things and the audios has been playing, the security chiefs would have, resisted that. They would have attacked him and really, they would try to know exactly what is happening. But they let him be, just because he is protected by His Excellency. So, but that is the whole thing. But that is not the main point. The main point is that we have our own missions. We have been scared to the feet. And even we have lost several friends, and we are no longer in touch with so many people. And the last person to disappoint me was Uncle Sam. The way the man mistreated me, insulted me, and dismissed me. That really, I don't ever want you to involve yourself just because we are just looking on how to make a small commission. It was just a small commission, and commissions are normal. It is part of business. It is normal business, actually. When such a man is available, making a commission is just a normal thing. Now let me tell you, my dear. You might say it is a normal thing, but not everything is a normal thing as you assert it. Now, just to look at the situation, there has been a battle running for almost half of a decade. And now what the money comes out to say, okay, I'm going to pay the penalties, such that such a thing can end. For me, I don't think he's doing it because of the past. I have it in a mind that Uncle Sam might be doing it to save the future, because the past is gone and cannot be altered. There is nothing like compensation, but it is a preserve of the future. That is what I think. So for you, if you still look at the past as the cause, no. Future prevention is preempting something that might happen in the future. So me, I would simply advise you that instead of picking up further battles, you avoid it. Where is Mike? I expect him to be around here already. No, Mike is coming. He told me that he's going to be around here, I think 8, but has been delayed somewhere. He thought he would just use a flight, but he did not get that chance, so he's supposed to use a vehicle. So he might be here around the midday, so we can have a full discussion of that. Then, so what reason do we give to still keep here? Then we should be moving when he comes. Then we record us or we call him and we meet somewhere. Anyway, I think that is the most important thing. But we really need to have this discussion done. Then we can move on. Yeah, we can have the discussion. It is critically very important. And then we conclude it. But there are several opportunities we can also think about. We shouldn't only concentrate on this one, because there are several others we can really take up. We can really take up.
Jangu tuwagere Tamale. Atulisa kubanga.
We are waiting, looking at the timing and all of that.
Wena mayembe.
Namulagako.
Ebirala byonna.
Abantu babiri benakalagako. Amanyi. Zagala kugamba kano mutwali bwe yabbe motoka yange nga ntambula n'esanda. Mutwali bwe teja mujukira yali yabbe motoka yange.
Gwe basanga esirongo.
Yave sirongo. Andi yalikanyira muto yajenguta. Nayingira toye sawa mwenda. Ali bwerere. Musasa ne kumwerija mu bulago. Amanya musasa kwerija mu bulago ne mwetunuligana bwe muti.
Ngata kumubojja.
Ya, batunuliganye bwe bati. Nagende sirongo ku police okubeti ya gas.
Omusota. Ninga abasirikale abatya.
Wayingira lubuto ni kukola akabundu. Ali bwerere. Gwali muto mutwali bwo kuva sirongo okutuka kalero wenna musanga ngarogwe jana nti yabbe motoka yange yadukira we dakika yagamba yali kumbwanga eri kama yembe
yamanya
tamanyi yange bukola basale motoka bo
emotoka yajjaduka buduso okuva esiro
yagira kumbwa okuva sirongo yagira kumbwanga kuti kumayembe gembo bwati yebwaga
komatu
mayembe ge
embwa yuko na mayembe
kakati oya magambi agenti yanda ba mu motoka ye ndagenda
mbate bo byogera ku radio abantu baloza ndi fiction
kubechigu yani kyajinda ba munga tutudde niye wunya wenje yengiriddemu kati bamala nagenda atomera embizi ina mayembe kati bwajitomera nebula ate agenda okulaba nga nze nva mu mmotoka ye nga ntambula
ng'okulusinga oluguudo
egudde nga nkulusinga oluguudo abadde atudde naye bamutwala mu ddwaliro yansangayo naye nga yandaba nze ye yekka nga yandaba
ne mu ddwaliro wamulumbayo
nalyoka akwata ekitanda bwati ngaabaga nti bane mirundi wuuyo nga balala tebandaba nga yandaba tekirebe yabagambye tikuwiikikula futi
oli
mo agembu mayembe gegabakwata nabane mwenda omusajja omugezi
oyo mwenda
ayina masazi diguli noganti amayembe gegabakwata ati Mike tomutegedde
bwaba
Mike mukula yoya
bwaba mpulide bogera nze mpulide Mike nenga si Mike yani
amazo okuvuma eri ajatule wano bagete museveni abawe sente kati oyo mwana tawagira Bobiwine so Bobiwine kuvadde kino
naye wa kibiina kya Bobiwine ye mwenda wa kibiina kya Bobiwine
ekikimulita kakati nze gwayogerako Uncle Sam nabeera naye ebbanga ddene nnyo simubbangako Uncle Sam yampita olunaku olumu nga njagala $5,000 genda okutuuka mu kkubo yazibala ali wansi wa mmeeza bwati genda okutuuka mu kkubo nga zizi $1,000 naddayo
Uncle Sam
onalebo obadde wakumpa sente mmeka ti $5,000 muga mpadde mutwalo tiziriwa nenzimuddiza do we still have people like you in this country kadi nazo zitwala
nga mweyongeddewo 15 nambirya
kuba namanya bw'aba ntezi ajja kumanya wiru adon
ekwaje asobola okubala nti nabadde n'emitwalo 3
naye ab'emmengo bulange ogundi bwe yakwata amasiro gakwata omuliro Bokenya ku biyombi amasiro ng'akyali vice yagenda n'abasimba emitwalo gya $2 abatuuka mu ofisi ne bamugaa nti kubuzeeko 5
kwebiri
nti ndowooza nabazibi najjo bando ndala
zaali zina kubeera mmeka
anti bamubbako 5
yabagamba 2
yabakwasa $2,200
ani
ne babbako 5 ne bamukubira ate essimu
mu kifo ky'ebiri
wonalebo sente nga teziweze ab'emmengo nabaga ndowooza nakutte ku bando ndala
oba wabakyawa bukyaya bebakola
ebyogamba golowooza nti president abategeera nti bamubbye omuntu ategeera ekintu ki nze nokwe zonna sente zange ezabulanga nyingi but can't I trace where it disappeared
osobola okumanya kwa sente zizo
yes ntegeera olala nali ngenze kulya mmere n'omuntu a respectable person anti akugambye nti nze mbyogera yes mukazi wange baali bamutagiti nze ate abo benyi
nti gwe n'omukazi wo otabuka n'oyogera n'ogamba fennange ate bwe tebabikola kuba
baali bamutagiti nze aba organize baali bamutagiti nze then I said why were they targeting her babeeramu ali mu company mbi that's what I said era bwe bamutagitinga ku organize bamugamba ayina kansa w'amabeere bali malwali saidi bagundi raketi yonna shaba kubira abakazi rayoti
mukyalo naawona kansa
kati tudde gigundi newunyeza omulamuzi w'empiki abasajja ababbi bana abafere ne bakwata omusajja ne bamutwala mu kooti amusalira omusango babbe ennyumba ye I will fight you this man in impiki gena mulwanyi
omulamuzi
ina kwandikira ekifu justice tumanyiganye
obunyidolo
if that man omulamuzi w'empiki bwaba yabedde bana abajinga ababba ku bantu sente ennyumba y'omusajja bajitu ku kooti ndi ku kooti kwe mugenze ne mubbe empiki
babide ku kooti
bamuyisa omusajja omulamuzi anti babalamuzi babayina naga nti waliwo omulamuzi Manerenda Makindi bayina emmotoka bwe baje kujjako ne bagigula sente entono n'oyo omusajja omubbi ali awo kugoni ekatwe mufere muyitirivu oyo omubbi asinga obubbi mu poliisi ali katwe alina connections mu government bagande ba minister mufere obubbi obuli ekatwe tubwogerako
poliisi
namukwata kuliko zingenda ziwa sabiti namuga muyite teke ku screen wali kakati bakugulako emmotoka kati bakugulako emmotoka nga bagikyusa langi nga bakukwa ng'omulala ajja kaga nti balance w'omuleesi ononje emmotoka ogiraba nga tebe bagituma omulamuzi ali Makindi ye kamanda waabyo nali ngenda omufubutula nga tumuzingiziza nadduka
omulamuzi
this is finished kyobole bankugamba nti president nze n'ekimukuuma si kimu nti abo be bantu baabwe
bagambye nti bwe toyagala kwogera ku bintu bimu kubanga toyagala kuswaza mukamaawo naye nga bagamba nti ye atamanyi babibba nti goyinza ogamba nti bagule wali eddagala gwegooli mu makasebo n'ogamba abantu sente z'amanda sente
zakikajja ne kangoba bakugendereza covid tamanyi bazibba naga nti eddagala gundi government drugs tamanyi bazibba kakati imagine abo nga bakutte pawa Museveni tasibira luzira abo bakwate pawa kakati bamala okubba mbufe tujje nedda naffe tetuyinza kukola nammwe tugenda kubasindikira ko emmotoka nete tujja kuyingira tujja kubafumbira emmere tugijjule
tetujja kulya
tetuddayo okukola n'abaana bano naye tetuliddayo
owerekera president Museveni
abantu bafaanana bati bafere bwe bati
owerekera president Museveni kukusamba bukulembeze ote
tute tutuyinza kubeera n'abantu bafaanana
bwana abakwata gwe n'akuyita akuyingiza
tulidde bamusekere ate tokamazeeyo bagaye nti abeera agamba irukurasi the opposition nti ate Mirundi tumutya yakuba enyondo niyo nti tukyamutyamu nakamu kyekinkubya obutambi obwo
gwe bakutya
abamanyi information yakolaki obujude bwagambye nti yateeta ebyuma ebyo scare us kakati
era mu
intelligence lwaki tebamukwata
anti bya president
kitegeeza bw'aba taliiwo byenkola tebisoboka tuyinza balwanyisa kakati katubalwanyise nga tuli mu opposition etali yakyagulanye eririyo
eyacha ko intelligence
eyo fake yawe
opposition yawe chagulenyi yamwemola eyo fake kasoma message za mangu Tamale bude kutuduseko omuntu gwe tuwulidde mu katambi oyo ayogera ngani tofaayo kasito wulidde sali etokecha agamba nti malamusenyo basebo alulize kirunda yali kanaluzala ndoza ebyawo ito joko Robert Sekidde Seroma yabidduka bukyali formerly IOM Masindi Sekidde Robert yali IOM Masindi yabidduka bukyali nabyetegula Simba Mwebe agamba nti jajja Tamale tata wange Simon Mwebe I respect you being candidate etofali lyo denne lyotade ku gwanga lino
Simon Mwebe yawandika ekitabo ku Democratic Party this is the Democratic Party acho wandika babiri mu kinana
yo Simba ojompe ku kitabo ekyo mpereza ku kitabo ekyo Simba Mwebe nkwegayiride bobango jina copy jintekere ku boda bagirete ku Victor Mundeba
abo beba wandisi
Simon Mwebe sebo mukuru wange nkusabye ku kitabo ekyo bakimpeko kiyingi agamba nti omukuku na vulero otukoze bulungi nnyo Dr. Semogerere Paulo Muwanga awamu ne Dr. Bote ani yasula government mu Kabiga
era kwewunyisa yabadde obutabala ate abasemogere okero wawamba government Muwanga namuyita nakola naye eyamubba obulumu kinana naye Katonda namuwemula emyaka egi emyaka 5 ngate Museveni yalina power Semogere nga yitani boy kuloleje bamubbako obutavumilia this is what the man is saying the man is not compensating Mirundi oyo Uncle Sam gwebayita Uncle Sam ne mu lutalo teyalimu olutalo lwali lwambabazi kubanga mbabazi bwe yajja temujjukira titumwebaze mbabazi bwe yagira tumwebaze bwe yajja bamulabone kwa minister what was the mbabazi speech yagamba bulijjo mutusaba abasika nikole uyu mwana namwandika k'ekitabo from stinking poverty to top 10 yende chufulumye yabbi sente za feza daddy inde bakubamba malewa.
Okay, good morning Ambassador, thank you so much for the program. We always appreciate Mr. Mirundi for his lectures. We appreciate Mr. Mirundi for his lectures on Nagamba Wanobwati. And I think Mr. Tamale Naganti, I have really liked the 1980 history. Tamale yebalinyo. And I think Tamale and Wana should write a book. Fabana abato tuchisome. Mathaya Salimbali.
Nti Museveni. Na kwatu wana namuteka mwaka hivu. Nateka musende. Wana yali chitokolede echo. Naye engeri bamusindi soluti. Okimanyi nti Wana bukenya bwamala okulya sente. Baje yali ministry ya information. Nechoni je yakwate edwaliro lya bazungu. Nalifuna ministry ya information. Nechoni ministry ya information. Bukenya bamuwa sente.
Bilioni 3.
Sente nazilya.
Archive nebajiwa yino.
Archive nebajikuba bali abasajja bakuba ngabati bamenye na bifaananyi.
Bayi wabiwe.
Wana kemuyina wo. Bangamba kono okungamba. Nti akoka clip kemulaba aka independence. Twakayazikanga mu BBC. Ebyafe byafiiro.
Wana
yabitereka.
No musajja bamuyita Dini Kibirige. Dini Kibirige ne etago kweba.
Nenga Bukenya sente yamba
ko kulonde byasigalawo.
Ne yazibye. ministry kuva weragewa
okuva nakasero okujja ku 11
nze nkolya bwerere
transfer yali ya billion
balaba hotel eyo bagirwanyisa okamala tebasajja ba Sudan batunzi bangano tebayina na sente mu hotel eyo I fought for it never man obalwani olabana Sudiru yanzirukako Sudiru kasayati kiziganya nabano nibagenda mu banka nibamukoka compensating Sudiru yandika ko ne muntebeye nibamukubirese mutajikwata
ko jange nzikanye naye aba n.u.p banja batayina mirimu gimanyiddwa kyokanga ensimbi ze balina mu kalulu nyingi nnyo era waliwo ne ba independence ye mukasa akola wa mbuka solo ye yaso omuntu every 50 nange nawulya ko nti wabe fako ye wafako bigi
kasolo yabadde mwankoni omuntu bamutidde nakatogo mairaga nera babwe bakonekitinga lale irigo lale bajimikisinga muno okufa kwa omuntu as if where they killed the person kasolo was there.
Okay,
these were agents of kasolo baserikali ba kasolo how abaserikali bafudde ku police ye kalisizo bwebe yanjudde ku police post ye nakatogo baga ntuli bagondi bakaso Lumumba without consulting anybody without consulting
over
bana batamu natamwa structure yamu baba kolera munyo I work alone abalumba mbikwane jange bechi naye kumpita mu kintu kye NRM kiberamu anga NRM government eringa pirao ngo mchere gwe gulimu obutwa enyama terimu oyiwa muyiwe tolonda munyama ku Kalungi Plaza level 5 kuliko manerenda akolagana n'omulamuzi ku high court tebabba baleruka akati bo balutawa ne bakwatira emasindi era bakuleta mu maso ga mulamuzi oyo nakuvunana
okay
how rotten this corruption court shanti corruption court yibajita corruption court olukukwatayo tinasali bamututeyo omusango tegutambula buli gwe batwalayo tegutambula buli gwe batwalayo you are interdicted nakalima ngayiwa mu abantu nakalima ngayiwa mu abantu nakalima zonga kan iraka akagufu akasejjako akafekete iraka kamuwana
okay atuliza
government bajononya
okay Mwidu Muhammadi agamented Uganda human rights active in 1980s in Kaliro when the DP massacred UPC Wako Elliot with the CISO. It is only NRM that brought the peace. Mwidu Muhammadi yabwati wagamba ono ekigobe erungu jam kati opinion polls ziragambo Bobiwine yeyongera kunafuwa yeyongera kunafuya Museveni
yeyongera nanafuwa antinkuga
anafuwa instead
anafuwa kangango
ngoba kati waliwo omuntu yagambye nti Bobiwine ogende koboko na endo singa ayume atuse nokuba kati mulonde Museveni Bobiwine singati bamukuba tear gas ebyo kugenda byali buze ekyokola kyali buze tear gas kiri bwekiti naffe tukuba enkungane yo sizifaya twaji violating kati ngabe tufunye eddagala lya Dr. Mwanje ne Diana yoga fish kakati tukirize enkungana zikubwenda bagamba Museveni bajja kuwaguza kubanga nabo tibayinza mukiza butagaba sente ku nkungana ekyo katuchikirize tuswesinga sanitation tokuba Bobiwine tear gas olabe mu wiki biri ngona damu mula tomukuba tear gas ekegeza tear gas wa Bobiwine ayamba Bobiwine tear gas ayamba Bobiwine. Good morning ambassador mbulizo mkukura vunti ajukire yali chairman wa UPC cha Dondo County mchinana Mr. John Wako I am his biological seventh son wako yakutumide kakati gwe wako gwegwe njo kujako bwino wa Uganda People's Congress ono kati gwenja ono mtabani wa wako yali chairman we cha Dondo
ono wawa kapabulu kasiru katugamba I want to see the president because Wakapabulo left you will you are stupid namwandu wa Wakapabulo abadde ne president omwana wa Wakapabulo bamwa oyi gwe yakulekera cyo kasajja gwe kalenzi gwe yakulekera kiramo ki obata inana mulimo gwe yakuwa nekatutawanya bakatweze amusano po Wakapabulo I have a message to the president Wakapabulo left
Mama Lydia lunguja program enyinyi lero Mama Lydia lunguja kutumide aganti nze nalondera mu Kampala East era twalondera Lugogo akanga akaluna kwa bidandi sali wa UPM naye nalaba abamaje balonda mulozi ojo mulozi
abayanti mu kyoli ate
kakati
nakawa nakyo kigambo kya lusholi
nakawa sija
you look for it
nakawa
oba bali mu ntungo oba bali machi something like that
Salon Kasibante mkulamsiza London Chambers House wali Salon Kasibante banamsaja wabade miaka ejo webale bwana Salon Kasibante ntege kasangati yagamba nti nku nyingi yagula tiketi ya n.u.p obukadde 2 omunaku omuzibu twebuuza yazijjawa
ate n.u.p Bobiwine bamuzinzeeko
bonko nyingi bwe yagula
Bobiwine bamulimba enku nyingi ajja kuvaamu ng'akalulu kamukubyako
bakyogera ekyo mbu baagala Bobiwine nku nyingi aveemu Bobiwine akomawo ekyaddondo
ti Bobiwine tebajja namukkiriza kubeera national chairman okimanyi nti ekibiina baali bakimuggyeko nga bakoze apiiru read my book naye nawandisa akatabo kange Bobiwine and the story of Kasobeza abamubbi wa mu nnyumba naye tosobola mutegeera Bobiwine anti bano ba MAFIA ba Kasobeza be bamulimu bo bagamba kasita abaleetera ababaka ba parliament Bobiwine nga tali mu parliament tajja controllinga kibiina leader of opposition yajja kicontrollinga waabwe kakati ate mu kibiina tebajja mukkiriza kubeera national chairman no
ekibiina si kya Bobiwine kya n.u.p
ekibiina kyabano nakugamba n.u.p kibiina kya NRM yes kiyonga yekiyo ya buli gestaringa nkubuulira
Kasobeza yennyini kalema njagala
kugira be bali gestaringa ekibiina ekyo
biliena
I'm telling you okukyusa leadership nabo bennyini bakyogera nti babulaibinga abamawulire ne babulaibinga military intelligence waiso yali wabo ekibiina ekikukyusa delegates conference bakirangire ennaku 14 who knew nti balanga Bobiwine atuulawo nakikyusa nebakyusa obukulembeze lwakojo nakirigesalinga ku lwakojo register party bebakimuteerawo Bobiwine kubanga balamu yali amaze okumubula
nga
kiri akirigesalinga
abakadde
nebamukolerawo ekyabwe kubanga abo abasajja bali mu factions waliwo faction yono omulenzi alowooza okufuga eggwanga eyo mbiyo yeyabuno ate bukagganyo
oyo omulenzi alowooza okufuga eggwanga akola ne Bobiwine
waliwo ne abasajja abakulu babanoonya future abatagenda kudduka wano webali
kakati Bobiwine ekyawa abakadde Bobiwine ekyawa abantu abakulu
Bobiwine ali mu group y'abana abakadde
ate bakyawa
akulimba
Tamale
nkugambye nti Bobiwine bamuleeta ne bamuteerawo ne constituency n'ogwo omusango be bagusazaamu kati abaddukako Amsterdam amutwala mu CIA abaddukako America emukapukyalinga kuba America ina policy to flash out the Chinese by installing younger gundi American gundi kakati bano bamuleeta lolo yabwe ya parliament na seke tebamukuba ntasaana bwa parliament bamukuba specifically tasaana president buli avuma Bobiwine buwe tomulide nti Mike tubadde tumulinda Mike
tanatuuka agira mu
nyonyi bali mukubidde weera Mike bwe yatuse mukono abasajja bali mu motoka nnya abagalubindi ne bajanga bamugoberera ayingira Diamond Trust ku sawa nga mukaaga nga mise mulaba mu byuma bwe yayingidde mu Diamond Trust
bagabi agoma yembe
basikadde bayimirije
kubanga n'Abayisirayiri
mukule yayitidde mutoyi naduka zagenze okwera omunana omwenda nga zeyetteso tayinza kuyingira Kampala
Apex ekachiri tukutumide anonya bakansala Apex katenda tukutumide obode butuduseko did Wapa leave his will with his son mono mtabani wa Wapa atamuze ekyapa wanaabuza nti ekyapa Wapa kawaterekera mwana
erimo message ya Museveni
muwiru
yagirina
Museveni yagabanga ebintu
prevented from seeing Museveni. I told him you are an idiot
anti wana wabuliza nti wiru yakitawo
gojitekera gwe banamwanda Museveni ayogera naye lori omuwala erimo oiro kanu kafere neka tutawanya diba mentioning wakapabulu obakitawo te yakuwa sirikira ddala
tulina kuvunana ngoja nasema kola zikusoka tabale tuve kompa obode tutudiseko